Guys, welcome. Jamil here with Aravaipa. I'm joined today by Noah, race director for Tushars Mountain Runs.
Morning, everybody. Welcome.
How you doing?
Terrific.
Just got back from a road trip, huh?
Yeah, we had a pretty big road trip, actually. 40-something days. Spent about a month in Maine, where my brother lives. So taking advantage of the time off from races, I guess, as safe as we can.
Yeah, you don't get 4 months off from events very often.
That's true. Never.
Not that we'd asked for it, but here we are.
Right.
Anyways, we got approval for Tushars Mountain Runs. Great work, Noah, on that one.
Heck yeah. Excited.
That's super exciting. So we just wrapped up, for those of you who don't know, we wrapped up our first event in 4 months up in Silverton, Colorado. So we're just leaving Arizona to put races on at this point. But we are headed back to Utah. This is the third year that we are organizing this race, but the event preceded us. It was created by Matt Gunn, and through his company Ultra Adventures, which has since been passed on to Salem with vacation races, and then passed on to us next. So we're keeping the spirit of this event alive. It's one of the most spectacular races in North America, if not the world, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
The only other place in the U.S. I can compare some of these mountains to is the San Juans in Colorado. It's simply amazing. And exciting note, Matt Gunn's running the 100K this year.
That's right. His first time, right?
Always love that.
Super cool. And his son will be out there running a different marathon, I believe.
Sweet. That's awesome. Where do you want to start today, Noah?
I guess the first thing, maybe we start going over some of the COVID guidelines, just kind of get it out there, because that was a big, hitch point on us getting approved. So I think kind of going through that is important. We want to make sure that's kind of at the forefront for everybody, and we understand that's not what everybody wants to talk about. People are probably sick of the COVID-19 situation, but it's very real here right now. So for us to be able to hold this race, it is worth everything, because, as we always say, it's like once you get out on the course, none of it really matters, right? Like you get through the ins and outs of the start and finish and getting your packet and stuff with the maths and stuff, but once you get on the course, everything kind of melts away, all the problems. So that's why we're here. But should we talk about kind of some of the things? Face coverings, I think that's probably the biggest thing. At start-finish lines, we're definitely going to, and anytime you're in our race village, if you will, or the headquarters, start-finish, we're asking some sort of face covering, similar to what I have or Jamil has, will work. And at all times, really. I mean, we want it right before you start your race, everything. So it's important, I think, for where we're headed. And so like when you come pick your packet up on Friday night, you're waiting in line, we will have separating like either a piece of paper down on the ground or chalked out 6 feet apart. Just please honor that and keep your distance between people in line. We will make it move as quickly as possible. We've set up our packet pickup a little differently, where it'll be set up, it'll be prepared in a race bag this time, instead of us pulling shirts and stuff individually. Everything is pre-packaged, so when you show up, say Doherty, bib 380, we just pull it right out of the bag and you're done. So it'll be faster in that regard, but we just ask, face coverings and social distancing. And I know in trail running, everybody's excited to see everybody, and it's a big deal. Everybody travels, a lot of people travel a long way to go to Tushars. So you're excited to see your friends, and it's exciting to be racing in person. As we found last weekend or 2 weeks ago at Silverton, it's cool to see everybody in person in the mountains again. So we anticipate that. Just be, respectful of everybody else, and kind of, do as is needed during this time for the COVID.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think we all want to set an example. We're still one of the first races that are happening in this era, so be mindful of that. We want to continue just, setting a good example. I think we have a chance to show the land managers, Eagle Point, and there's other there's other government agencies watching too. So keep that in mind. Like if we all want races to continue to come back, I think it's all of our responsibilities to do our part. So, I know you want to go hug and high five everyone, but let's wait on that. As far as group photos go, like we do not want to see people not wearing masks in large group photos. Like we just don't want to see it. It's not the time for it. you can be creative in other ways in doing that. So just a couple things that I think are important, just to reiterate, the face coverings, the social distancing, reducing the contact points. It's how we're all going to help each other out and stay safe and healthy. So that's those are kind of the main things that we're looking at from the health guidelines that show that it's all about reducing the risk. So we're already outdoors, which is a huge bonus. And as long as we can stay spaced out, we can do these kind of things.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, mentioning the other agencies are watching, and not necessarily watching for us to slip up, but they want to know that we can safely hold trail races. And if that means that us holding a trail race in Utah allows us to hold a trail race in New Mexico or somebody, then that's great.
Yeah. Well, and for us here in Arizona, I mean, I have a meeting tomorrow with Maricopa County, and we want to show them that, hey, look, we did this over here. Here's photo and video of what it was like and what was happening. And what they don't want is, they don't want an outbreak, or they don't want, the group photo that has 20 people in it not wearing masks. It's just not a good look right now. It's not going to help any of us to get out there and pursue this. It's just going to set us back, and it's going to give them another reason to just shut it down.
Yeah, I think going along that lines with the wave starts, we can kind of talk about, we are going to do, everybody will be in a wave start. So there's 4 distances. The numbers have been updated online. So start time's adjusted a little bit with the 50 or the 100K. It was at 5. We're going to go back to 4:45 for the first couple waves, just to kind of give a little more space between the 100K and 70K. And we'll do every 5 minutes, and it'll be up to 20 people. Probably 15 is what we'll max out at most of the time. But and it gives about 35 minutes of gap in start. So if you haven't joined us for Tushars, the first, half mile is kind of on a ski slope. So it's very wide. You run down, and then you kind of run up another ski slope before you get onto a single track. And from there, you're on single track for a little while. So it gives a little bit of time to spread out, and then the trails just kind of naturally spread people out, I think. And then throughout that whole first 8 miles, there are places to pass, so don't get frustrated if you are trying to book it. There's meadows and stuff that break up the single track. So just be courteous and just understand this is, a little different. We can't be right on top of everybody this time, and maybe you'll be able to slow down and enjoy the scenery a little bit.
Yeah. Is it about a mile before you hit the more narrow single track? So kind of use that first mile to get into position.
Yeah, if you're trying to go for something, yeah. Or, it's about a mile, I think, to get across that marshy area where you start to go right. So the wave starts we'll do, and even within the wave starts, so to get into the starting corral, we'll go through the whole thing. So when you arrive Saturday morning, we'll give you about 5 minutes before you come into the corral. So say you're starting at 4:45, which we'll have our elite group go then. So at 4:40-ish, you come in and you will get a no-touch temperature check. As long as you pass that, you will walk into the starting corral, and there will only be 15 or 20 of you in that group, however it shakes out. And then within that starting corral, you'll see our start-finish banner. There will be lines or dots that will show you like 2 people here, 6 feet back, 2 people here, 6 feet back, 2 people here. So within that, we're asking you social distance for that start as well.
And keep your face covering on until you start.
Yeah, and please keep your face covering on. Like we said, we just want to set the precedent and get this over as fast as we can. And if this is what it takes, then this is what it's going to take. So you get your temperature check, you come in. About 5 minutes before, we'll do a quick little race briefing. You'll head out. The next group, at that time, we can start having people come into the back area of a corral as they're getting their temperature checked. And then they'll be kind of like waiting in the wings till that first group goes, and then so on and so forth for 30 minutes or 45 minutes, whatever it takes for that group. The 100K is our largest field this year, which is super exciting. Yeah. Very cool. So, that takes about 40 minutes or so. And then we have a little bit of a gap between each distance also, because the 100K, 70K, and marathon all run to the same place in the start. So we want to make sure you're not hopefully passing, 140 people in the first 12 miles. So, which I don't think at all will happen, but we will post that as well. Just so you know, once we have probably, hopefully over the weekend or the very start of next week, we'll be able to bib assignments with wave starts, so because There's a big difference between starting at 4:45 and 5:35. So we want to make sure you're aware of that. And
Civil twilight, 6:06 a.m. looks like. So 100K, you guys got to start with the light.
exactly. And maybe even 70K. If you start at 6, you might be running into, you'll probably want something. Maybe not. It'll
be a close call.
Yeah.
You might be able to get through it, but you might want like a little light.
Yeah, so 6:05 and then 6:30 is sunrise. And what else? I guess volunteers, that would be another thing. So our aid stations will be different in a way.
Aid station.
Do you want to say something?
Just in general, talk about aid station. Entering an aid station.
Yeah, same thing. And then even with your path, like we want the face covering kind of on you or easily accessible at all times, so that when you get to an aid station, or if you get to a group of 4 runners kind of lined up, just if you're going to pass them, put a face covering on, and help everybody out, make sure everybody's comfortable out there. But when you come to an aid station, we want to still try to utilize social distancing. So if there's 3 people there, maybe give it a second, catch your breath. Everybody's going to have time. Like, it's not going to make that much of a difference to wait 30 seconds for people to get their water and then you walk up and get your water. But face covering up and socially distance. And then we have some new, like, no-touch water dispensers, so you can put your water bottle under there. Our volunteers will still be helping. They'll have face coverings on, they'll have gloves on, they'll have hand sanitizer, washing stations, all that stuff for you and them. And they will have pitchers of water similar to how we have had at our races in the past. And so you would open up your bladder or your soft flask, hold it, and they can pour it, but they're not going to open bladders up for you and do that stuff.
Grab your bottles, things like that.
Stuff like that, where it's like, hey, can you fill this while I'm doing this? We can't do that. We're trying to eliminate that contact, but they're certainly happy to help you fill. And then similar with food, if it's prepackaged, we would just hand it to you, and then there will be hot food and stuff like that because of the longevity of this race. Like, we don't want to change that element. But it'll be, the volunteer will make it. He'll hand it directly to you. There will be no contact with anything else.
I mean, there's not going to be communal food bowls at this event, obviously.
No bowl of M&Ms and pretzels and stuff. Yeah, that will be different.
Yeah, like anything that you need that you don't see immediately out that's prepackaged, ask a volunteer to get that for you.
Yes. Yeah, because the items just might not be out. But I think we're trying to do our basic full sweet, salty snacks. Later in the day, we'll have hot food, specifically for the 100K, 70K, just because it's a long time to be out there.
Yeah, but in general, I mean, we're kind of pushing towards a little bit more self-sufficiency. I think that's kind of in general. I mean, if you can bring a little bit more food for yourself, nutrition-wise, that you can, skip or reduce your dependency on the aid, it's definitely encouraged, as it just cuts down on that contact time.
Absolutely.
More of like a European style of self-sufficiency.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. On that, should we go into kind of crews then, since that kind of helps with the self-sufficiency? The crew access, we didn't really limit it per se this year. In fact, we probably expanded it after kind of discussing it. There's 3 aid stations that have crew access, and those are for the 100K and 70K only. The marathon doesn't get it, and then the half marathon only hits Skyline twice, so there's no crews for that. But Mud Lake, then Bullion, and then Miners. And Bullion is where the drop bags are as well. But the 3 aid stations, so all of them, unfortunately, don't have much parking. They're small turnoff or small trailheads with 5 to 10 spots. And then at Bullion, which is up and over the pass, you would there's a parking area about 200 yards or a quarter mile before you would get to Bullion on the left. And you could park in there. The runners will be coming up that hill from Blue Lake, and then they will come onto Forest Road 123 and hit Bullion. And in the past, you've been able to park there and then walk up to the aid station. If you wanted to offer aid there, we're allowing it at that point. So the runner can come up the hill, immediately get aid from you in that parking lot. Then they would run up the road to Bullion and then either continue on to Copper Belt or continue down to Miners, depending on if it's 70K. So, and that would eliminate having to stop at that aid station. So if you have crew and they can make it up there, that's a good spot to do it. There's also drop bags there, which can, we will take out for you, obviously. But And then similar at minors. So minors would be 100K, 70K again. And there's a spot when you get into the minors park area, you cross over a little bridge and then it actually says minors park. It's an old like interpretive village of how mining used to be. Pretty cool to check out. And then there's a couple little spots to park. So little pull-offs of 4 and then another 3 and then maybe a parallel park area. And you can also receive aid there. So they'll pop out from the trail coming down from Bullion onto the road, the dirt road, as they run up another, a third of a mile to Miners Park aid station. All along that road, if you can park there, they can receive aid there before continuing up the mountain. The most critical thing with that is to never ever park on the road blocking the roadway. It's super important, and it's a busy road, both of them. The Forest Road 123 is a very busy OHV. It's part of the Paiute Trail, and people travel from a long way to go on that, so it's busy. And runners will be running on it, but we just ask crews to make sure you don't block any roadway. It's very, very, very important for us and for the future of the race to make sure you're honoring that. And you should be able to find spots because the wave starts, I think, will assist in that and avoid crowding. But just be respectful of other people and motorists out there. Hopefully we have good weather. I mean, that was the only other thing. Crossing over the pass, it's a little mucky up at the top. There's like a clay surface. And
yeah, if you're driving up and over Bullion, I mean, you got to have a capable vehicle. And if it's really, really wet up there, just be cautious. There is one section that can be a bit treacherous.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have an idea from the day before. We'll be out there and stuff, but we'd almost recommend just going around. It adds 40 minutes of driving, but you go out of the mountains and then back up or just hit Miners and skip Bullion or something. But hopefully we don't have to deal with it, but just something to think about climbing over that pass. The other option is you could hike up and over, park below and hike the 3 miles up, and same thing for pacers if you wanted to jump in at Bullion. But okay, I think that's good for crews.
Drops,
yeah.
Don't drop. That's what you say here.
Don't drop. Yeah. So drops is another thing. Obviously, we don't want people to drop. I think a lot of times when you want to drop, if you just kind of sit down, let somebody, get some water, get some food in you, give it 20, 30 minutes. And if you need to, that can make all the difference for you. And it could totally change your race. So don't just come into an aid station with a mindset like I'm quitting here, because you never know. Sometimes you bounce back. We've seen some crazy things at the start finish or at aid stations where people were zombies walking in, and then they go back out and run a 20-mile loop and finish the race. So it's pretty cool to see. So don't count yourself out. However, we know people will drop, and it happens, and people get hurt and stuff. We just want to make it clear, because of the remoteness of this course, some of the aid stations, you're looking at an hour-and-a-half wait minimum for us to get out there. And that's assuming that we have a staff person ready to get you. So that's one way, figure an hour and a half back. So in some cases, it could take 3.5 hours for you to get back. So it's another thing to consider. Could you hike 8 miles in 3.5 hours? I don't know.
And maybe turn things around.
Yeah, and just hike it. Yeah, and you're still moving. And so something to consider with time. And then within the vehicle, face coverings, and we won't be able to pack the truck like we normally can, where it's like, hey, we're going to put 6 people in here, and as long as everybody's okay, we won't be able to do that. So that could also affect, the later stages at Miners or Alionite. If you're really having a hard time, it might take even longer. We'll do our best, obviously. We don't want you to sit out there and start getting cold and everything else, but we just want to let it be known it's a difficult race to access all the points. Pacers still are good. Pacers are allowed at Bullion, Miners, 1 pacer at a time. And there's no real access point at Alionite. So if you start at Miners, you're kind of going through, which is arguably the most difficult section, given the time that it's in. It's a huge climb, and bring them into the finish. But pacers are still good. Crews in general are still good. Oh, required gear list.
Yep.
So required gear, it's pretty small. Mostly it's the rain jacket, the emergency blanket or space blanket, reusable cup. It's just a cupless race. So in general, you need that. And so we just put it on the list as another item. But it's cupless. It has been cupless both years, but just for people that are new to us, that means we won't have soda sitting out. We won't have water sitting in cups and stuff like that. So reusable cup. We have a whistle. I know a lot of packs just have a whistle on there. That's totally fine. The rain jacket. I mean, Jamil and I both have, of course, marking in general, we've sat for 45 minutes to an hour just waiting out storms because it is just dumping. So,
and that's the reason for the rain jacket. And I mean, we recommend like a good rain jacket, not,
not a windbreaker, really.
Yeah, you need something that's fully waterproof. It has a hood. I mean, you might even want to bring gloves and a cap. Those would be recommended. But yeah, like I've had to wait out storms that come up, like crazy lightning storms. I'm waiting at tree line in a patch of trees for 30, 40 minutes, and you get cold. Like you get cold quick because you're soaked to the bone. You're trying to stay out of it, and that's why we have the space blanket requirement too. It's like, if nothing else, if you pull that space blanket around you, it's going to reflect your body heat back on you, and you're going to survive. You're not going to go hypothermic. Someone's not going to have to come rescue you, and that's why we have these items. It's it's for your safety.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, don't be afraid to pull your space blanket out.
It doesn't need to. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it fits back in that little plastic sleeve. Like, use it.
Yeah, it's there, and it really does work, and it's something. And hopefully nobody has to use it. But honestly, the storms we've seen just crazy. It'll be sunny, and then 2 hours later you're hiding under a rock, waiting for lightning to stop striking within eyesight. So. And then the cell phone / like a GPS device, we really would like everybody to have the course on their body, whether it be on your watch or on your phone. There's GPX files on the website for all 4 distances. There's CalTopo interpretive maps on there, or interactive maps, and you can download GPX from there.
My favorite app to use is Gaia, Gaia.
Definitely.
And you can literally go from like the CalTopo website and export the file, and it will open it right in there, and it saves it, and you can follow it in case, you never know. Like, we marked this course, we think pretty well. We use tons of flags, probably like 2,000 flags on course, something like this. But they can get knocked down. There's animals, there's things that can happen to them. So having that course is important.
It's just nice peace of mind. And like, we try to do our best to market, and but it's nice if you get somewhere and it's like, wow, I don't know if I've seen a ribbon in a while, and you zone out, and then to just be able to look down and say, actually, I'm on the course, I'm good. So that's kind of the idea with the cell phone GPS. So if you have a watch, you don't need to have a phone. Obviously, we recommend it. You can keep it in airplane mode, and most batteries last the duration of what your race would be, and then you would just for another safety factor. And Gaia, by the way, it works in airplane mode, and it works really well. So it's not like you're draining your battery the whole time. One other thing is, when you get to the top of a couple peaks, so like Delano, we have like a hole punch. You just punch your bib, because we try to, at the top of Delano, generally Jubilee will be up there. She'll be taking your photos, so muster up a smile while you're up there. And then top of Copper Belt, and then, is that it? Is there another one we have? Punch. It might just be those 2. But you get to the top, punch your bib, so we know you made it. We'll check them on when you get down to the finish. But
Copper Belt's an out and back. So, and then there's the out and back for the half marathon, but we just want everyone to punch.
Right, and that's why for the half marathon, yeah. So, and then there is still camping on site. It's dispersed camping. It's right near the start finish. You pay Skyline Lodge or Eagle Point directly, and they don't take reservation in advance, and you can just kind of set up wherever, go inside, pay them, and there's spots like right next to the start finish, and then just down the hill below the second lot, people have camped down there as well, where the RVs are and stuff. You can go just into the woods down there. Haven't had an issue with space before. I know, I just talked to Eagle Point on the phone today, and they're sold out, I think, Thursday, Friday, Saturday now, which is pretty cool. I assume mostly from our runners, so that's kind of exciting. But camping, and then they're still going to do the dinners. So the pre-race dinner, he's still working out some details. He was supposed to get back to me yesterday. I didn't hear back, but it has been a pasta dinner Friday night. That includes a salad bar for those of you that don't want pasta. and I think you get a drink, like a fountain drink or something. But same thing, you're inside in a lodge, just so you know. We're trying to get them to do some to-go possibilities where it's like you can just walk up and it's in a to-go box, or you put it in a to-go box and go, so you don't have to sit there. But it's kind of a communal seating, so it's a ski lodge. When you go in there, I mean, that's what it is. It's basically picnic tables and a few smaller tables. So face coverings, of course, and keep your 6 feet of distance if you can. But same thing Saturday, post-race meal. Last year it was a taco bar. I think it'll probably be something similar. But as soon as I have those details, we'll make sure to post it. And I know there's quite a few of you that took that offer. So I think you'll have at least 3 or 4 hours to take advantage of that as well.
Can I talk about the schedule real quick? So packet pickup and all that.
Yeah, so packet pickup is 4 to 7 on Friday, and that is going to be outdoors this year. So last year we did it in the lodge. We're trying to keep people from outdoors or from being indoors. So you will actually park up top at the skyline, walk towards our start finish area. We'll have a 10 by 20 size tent, and like we said, it's pretty quick. It'll be faster than normal, hopefully, but just be patient because if there's a lot of you. But that's 4 to 7. We're asking you drop your drop bags off Friday night for the 100K, 70K, and probably we'll have you put them underneath the deck again, which is just kind of covered out of the rain in case it is raining. Then we take those and bring them out to Bullion for you.
And it's just Bullion. That's the only spot.
Just Bullion, yeah.
Okay.
And 100Ks, you hit that twice. That's why we kind of kept it at Bullion. But and it's a good mileage for 70K.
And then it starts back up, packet pickup, Saturday morning, race day.
Yeah, so I think 4:15. It's about 30 minutes for the 100K, the start of the 100Ks. And then they'll just run until whoever hasn't signed up. And like we said, okay, so the other thing with packet pickup, when you come to pick up your bib, you need to have your required gear items with you. That is when we will know to give you your thing. So show us your items, then you get your bib packet. So make sure you bring those. I know last year we didn't communicate that as well as we could have, so this is your warning.
Let it be known. Important warning, flashing.
Bring those items with you. We'll have somebody check those first, then you get your bib, and then you're on your way.
So yeah, if you don't want to have to get to the front of the line and go back
to your car,
make sure you walk up with your required gear. Maybe we'll try and put a couple signs up too. It says make sure you have it.
Yeah, and then you'll see some of the cutoffs have been I've changed those so they all reflect the different wave starts. So basically, if it took an extra 30 minutes for the 50 or for the 100K, then the cutoff is now 5:30 a.m. instead of 5 a.m. So everybody, it's exactly or more. The 70K is actually even more generous, just so it lines up easier with the aid stations. But all that is reflected. You can see it all on there. Please, there's a ton of information on the website. There's a ton of information in the race guide. Just come prepared. It's amazing. It's an incredible race. And the farther you go on course, the more pretty it is. So we're stoked to have you guys and excited.
Yeah, I'd say if you guys have questions, you can definitely comment in this video. We will answer them, or you can email Noah directly or reach out and message us any other way. Let's talk about these things.
Yeah, I think Matt was responsible for these, actually, Matt Gunn. So he had like a local artist make them in the Beaver area. So we have these kind of bigger cups, which we have one, and my wife uses like every day for her lemon tea.
Nice. Yeah, we inherited a bunch, like literally boxes and boxes of this, and we are trying our best to unload these this year. So we have crazy deals on these amazing like pottery, and once they're gone, they're gone. So kind of get a piece of Tushars history, one of these Matt Gunn inspired glassware. So check out the store. We will have a limited store that is, you can't walk in and browse, but you can walk up to it and pick up one of these glasses with your order. They're going to be really good deals. So we wanted to pitch that real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Other than that, be sure to, I guess, follow us on social media. Let us know how you're preparing, and we'll see you guys soon. See you next week.
All right. Thanks, everybody. See you soon. You want to do it?
I'm hearing like
someone talking.
I feel like I can hear the airplanes. I think it'll.
I thought I heard someone talking for a second.
Yeah, I heard like a cat maybe. There's a cat in the rafters.
Feral cat.
We might have sealed them in the walls. I don't know.